Lara Heimann, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Am I saying your name correctly? Lara Heimann?
Lara Heimann, yes. It's funny, Lara, 4 letters. People moved to New Jersey from North Carolina, and I would say, my name's Lara, and they'd say, Lara. We'd go back and forth.
Right.
It's Lara.
Lara Heimann. And then, so we're here to talk about, you're offering free yoga for a month. It's live, but there's also a huge library. There's tons of classes for every predilection and every body, every interest. Probably you have yin yoga style things.
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't?
No.
So what kind of style, or what can we expect?
Okay, so, well, my background is I'm a physical therapist. I specialized in neurodevelopmental training, was what it's called. So really basically brain stuff, like how we move is a habit, how we sit is a habit, how I talk with my hands. We have habits, and so some of them are very hardwired.
I'm now looking at how I'm leaning on my arm.
Because posture's a big thing I talk about.
Yeah.
So in essence, the yoga that I teach is educating people about how to move, stand, feel better. It's really getting people to understand their bodies. We're walking around in this vehicle that just so few people know what the heck is going on, and it doesn't have to be that way. You don't have to be a physical therapist. I can teach you about your body without, dumbing it down or talking over your head. It's what we know and what we want to know. And when people actually understand it and understand that at any point in time, and I really mean this, you can feel better, you can move better by simply paying attention. A lot of it is the art of paying attention.
Paying attention to your body and what's tight and what's relaxed in your breath and your alignment. And
Exactly. How we move. I mean, up until a certain age, we wouldn't tell kids how to move. They're moving intuitively. And probably around the age you get to school and you're confined and your movement experience becomes smaller and less varied, less interesting. And then all these kind of imbalances occur. And what I've been seeing over the past 25 years is they are occurring at younger ages because of more time spent in technology and all that. But at any time, people can improve the way they're standing and moving. And so that's really what my yoga is about, that.
Let me jump in with the obvious question, which is, why do we care during this quarantine time of stress, anxiety? I mean, the obvious answer might be maybe this helps us relate with that, but why do we care about yoga, which can seem sort of privileged or kind of like a fancy side dish when our main meal is missing?
Well, to me, yoga it shouldn't be a privilege. It's for everybody. Right? I mean, it really is. It shouldn't be like, yoga to me is not like, do you have the right mat and the right outfit and pay the exorbitant price? It's taking the time for yourself to tune in and it's moment to moment. It's also not like I'm doing yoga and now I'm going on my way.
Right.
I am much more interested in educating people how to pay attention to how they're moving, perhaps habitually, that is not going to serve them long term. And so now is an opportunity to pay attention. And we actually need that attention because we have a low grade or very high grade dull roar of anxiety, of the unknown. Anytime we're unknown, our body, our minds, our nervous systems go into a little bit of sympathetic overdrive or stress response. And we are the conductors. So we can change that, and we need to. And you can do it through movement, and it can be as simple as starting for 5 minutes. 5 minutes of movement with breathing, and you will change the way you feel physiologically, and then psychosomatically, psychologically, and physically. It's all connected. The other thing I'm not into is separating mind, body, spirit. We are connected. It is, I say there are so many unknowns in life, but the one irrefutable fact that is not arguable is that we live in a body. We live in a body, and how we interact in the world is through the body. So even though we are sequestered, we still are living in our body. That is not sequestered. So
Right.
it's probably even more important now to understand how we can move and breathe and pay attention in ways that are going to help us remain sane and calmer, less anxious, and feel empowered by that. Feel like there's many things we can't control right now, and it's that out of controlness that is making people go down the rabbit hole of fear and the unknown.
So this is the way. Let me jump in with a little kitchen business, which is everyone on Facebook. We can't see the comments, but they're there. Can you please say where in the world you're from and check out the link to do Lara's classes for free for a month. Since this pandemic started, I've been doing the New York Times 6-minute exercise videos, one every day. So this is the best time ever because you're stuck at home to set up your laptop or TV or whatever. And at the end of a long day or beginning of a long day, or whenever you so choose, because you're home, just pop on that yoga, and it's free for a month as a little quarantine gift. And then if you have any questions for Lara, or for me, but I don't have answers, but if you have questions for Lara, then Molly or Lindsay, who are womaning this video for Elephant, will relay those questions to us. So back to you, Lara. I do also want to throw in that you're a vegan cook, right?
Yes.
And you also you have bike toured across America. So you're pretty much just like my dream human being, I have to say. And you rescued a kitten while biking across the country.
I know, right? Yes, I know. We have a lot in common. A lot. I know. So I'm from Princeton, New Jersey. Originally, I'm from North Carolina. Mm-hmm. I am a physical therapist, a yoga teacher. I've been doing both of those for 25 years. I've always been interested in activism. My mom is a huge activist. She's from Mississippi originally, and I look at where she is in her life now and what she stands for, and I think it's incredible, the time period she's lived through and what she was exposed to as a young girl, and she's just like one of my heroes. She's such a social activist, and so I had that as a role model for so many years. And my dad passed away last year. He was just a stellar human being, a surgeon, but one of the kindest human beings on this planet. So for me, I just want to help people feel better and be better.
I love that.
The world needs that.
What a beautiful mission to get to wake up with in the day.
Yeah, because if we feel better, honestly, we're gonna care about people outside of ourselves. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
Right.
If you don't feel that great, we really stay in this kind of me state. And that's just the human nature. It's not anybody's fault. But what I really want to help promote is empowerment through safe, strong, and sustainable movement. Mm-hmm. And so I do that. I have a studio here. I'm sitting in my studio. Unfortunately, it's empty now because we got down 3 weeks ago to be socially conscious. And
I was trying to think of some joke to make about your empty studio, but
I know. It's pretty. It's an empty studio, but it's all my people are still practicing. And you know what? This is what's interesting.
Yeah.
I had people that would ask me like, "Oh, are your students so unhappy they can't?" And I'm like, "No, they're so grateful." Mm. So I feel like if you promote it, you become it, and you are part of it. They're grateful that we're still doing classes. That's of course, a wonderful response, and they're continuing to sign up for classes and take it. So I have my studio has virtual classes that's separate from my Lit Daily, which has the 1 month free. Mm-hmm. I also have a vegan cafe here.
Oh my God.
I know. So, and so many people, because when I opened up my studio 8 years ago, there were not a lot of vegans around. No. And I have a high conversion rate. And the reason I have a high conversion rate is because there's no reason not to be vegan, right? There really isn't. It makes you, I think it's who we are at our essence, that we want to be kind and we want to make choices that benefit all, truly all. And one reason I really promote a very strong yoga practice is it kind of takes strength. It really does. It's a lot easier to, and just like hope takes strength, and determination, and helping others, all those things take strength. They come from a place of physical and mental and spiritual strength. So I really promote and it's all connected. So
and meditation and yoga, I come from the Buddhist world. The meditation, literally the basic meditation I do every day is called strengthening the mind in the present moment. So, once you have that groundedness, then you can deal with the world going a bit haywire and your own mind going and heart going haywire. And that doesn't mean that you are wrapped up in privilege and you don't care. It means that you care all the time, which is kind of painful, but that love becomes an active verb instead of a passive kind of like thoughts and prayers, but I'm not going to do anything about it.
Oh yeah, I know. I was one of those yoga people. Sorry if you do this. But early on, I didn't really love the sign off love and light, because to me that felt very
yeah.
I don't know. So yes, we need more than that. We need more than a wish for love and light. We need to actually be that, we need to be light. We need to really be aligned and consistent. And that's where, when you're consistent with your practices, you're more consistent with your actions. And so we opened up our platform from a week to a month, knowing that people are going to need to get into a consistent practice. And then when they get into it, it's a feedback loop, just like you do with your meditation. It's a feedback loop for feeling better, having more energy, feeling clearer, feeling more grounded, feeling calmer.
And it's free. You have a body. You just get on the floor or whatever. You get in front of the video. Hopefully, you have access to the internet, obviously, and or your neighbor's internet, as my mom does. And you just do it, right? And how long is the average exercise or sequence or whatever you call it?
Well, we have a whole. You'll have to try and take some classes and tell me.
I will. I 100% will.
Yeah. So what I recommend is people go on, and the style is a little different. It is a vinyasa style, but it is very much.
Vinyasa is like flow.
Vinyasa flow, as opposed to long holds or something like that. So, right. And vinyasa literally means put in a particular order. So I quite frankly feel like I'm really teaching vinyasa, because there's nothing random. It is a method. It is methodical. We have the beginning is called a reset, and that reset is reestablishing posture. You're a neutral pelvis, a aligned spine, integrating the core. If you just come in and start moving around, you're going to move in the way that you move in life, and sometimes it's just path of least resistance. So, in fact, you could be actually reinforcing suboptimal movement habits. And that
was a fancy way of saying you could be further injuring yourself because of your habits or your existing injuries. And years ago, do you remember that Sunday New York Times Magazine had this kind of expose of yoga saying yoga will break your body or something?
Yeah, it was based on the book about, I have that book.
I loved that article, and I was like, yes, because
it's brilliant. And so many of yogis are like, oh, and I'm saying, this is a guy who actually did research. Yeah. And, all those poses that he was saying were injurious. I'd never promoted from a physical therapist, because I like standing on your head, on your shoulders. These are not good things. If you've ever worked with anybody, and the cervical disc are small, the cervical vertebra are very thin. They're made for mobility. They're not made for weight bearing your whole body. It's an ego pose. It's because most people can learn how to do a headstand, but it's not good for you. So I've never taught. And
what I loved about that article was, because I was studying with Richard Fineman, who you may know at the time, and he was all about alignment and intention and, quality yoga, right?
Yes.
And then there's sort of pop yoga. And while that may be a great gateway to more quality yoga or intention or alignment yoga, yoga can be dangerous. So if you have someone like Lara, like I have a bad injury from surfing, if I could do yoga that would help me heal that injury instead of just kind of continue to favor it or avoid it and exacerbate it, then I have more trust in you and I actually want to do it long term.
Waylon, we're going to have to work on that because I totally can help you with that. I promise. I mean, I work with everybody from like Olympian athletes to very injured people who have not moved really well in 30 years.
Why did you point at me when you said that? Very injured people. It's kind of rude.
Who haven't moved well in 30 years. No. I was just, it was like,
yeah. I got
everything in between. So, so if you go on the platform, there's a foundation series, and that really introduces you to the blueprint of the kind of method, so to speak. So that every class, there is a method, there's a blueprint that's very analytical and purposeful. But then within that, there's tons of creativity. So that's really where I shine, is in my ability to create movement, and in a way that, I mean, I have over 300 classes that I've made in a little over a year. It's just, and I'm always thinking up things.
Wow.
They can be based on the body. It could be based on an emotion. It could be based on a feeling. It could be based on I just have tons of different names of classes, and people will resonate with them in different ways. So you can explore the site. What's unique about the site is that in addition to having the classes like the foundation and the beginner and slow flow, and some of the ones where you can start off more methodically, it's not that it's easy. It's just that if you're not used to this or accustomed to some of the language of it, you're going to want things to go at a little bit slower pace so you can check in, really.
Or if you're really lazy. I'm really if I'm playing basketball or something fun, I love life if I'm climbing. But with yoga, it brings up my inner laziness and my resistance.
You're gonna love it. That's my stuff. It's fun.
Yeah.
I remember I first started teaching this, and I would go into a New York studio for a workshop, and everybody's sitting on their mats ahead of time. And I'd come in there, and I'm like, why? We don't need to take our yoga so seriously in this way. It is making it so, we need fun and joy. There is enough stuff that is serious and heavy. So actually, my stuff is so fun. It is not at all okay, I'm just showing up and I have to do this because Lara says, and it's going to be good for me. People find that they love it. I put basketball moves in there. I do things. We do plyo. We do. It's hard to describe. You just have to try it. Functional training stuff is in there because we're training for life. We're training for all the stuff we want to do.
So everyone can go to that link. I think it's in the comments. We have folks here. It says from Finland, Germany, New York, France, Denmark, Iowa, Montana. You can all gather together without sharing the coronavirus and do yoga.
Yes.
And do it safely for your body.
Yep.
And just sign up, and it's a month free, right?
Yes, a month free.
And I keep saying that because that seems pretty generous. I mean, my friend Amy Apoliti in Boulder, who you may know, she's been encouraging people to, yoga teachers, to be comfortable asking for money for their online yoga. How do you, just this is a side question, how do you feel about, this is a big gift to people that we're happy to share, we're honored to share, but does this flow work for you and your family as well?
Well, I looked at it this way, I'm in a position where I have worked really, really hard as an entrepreneur. I have a studio, I have an online platform, I have online teacher trainings, regular teacher trainings, and I have been fortunate to have a very successful career with that. To me, I feel like it is the least I can do. Every day I wake up, I'm like, what can I be doing here? I thought about going and volunteering in a hospital because I could be considered a health worker since I am a licensed PT. I've been donating, but donating is amazing. It's neat. We all feel like this is something I can do. And not to take away from yoga teachers who should be charging. Of course, I'm going to charge it. Eventually, that month runs out. So I'm not saying free forever, but what I'm saying is I can open it up from our 1 week to a 1 month and give people some time to experience this and see what it's like and see if they enjoy it. Whether or not they stay on, of course, I'd love them to stay on, but I just want that. I do also understand that yoga teachers are in a very, very unique situation that most have not been in, because most yoga teachers have not been online, do not have an online community, don't even have the online system in place. Like, how do you do a class? How do you stream it? How do you charge for it? How do you get it out there? And, you know, if they go from teaching in a studio and earning money from that and from privates, I would never, and I have an online teacher training right now with 180 people from around the world. And I'm like, you don't have to give anything away for free. I'm in a position where I can, and I want to.
I just wanted to acknowledge that this is
absolutely, there are people that need that money. And so a lot of those teachers are charging for their classes, as they should. Amen. And people are appreciative. And our studio classes, by the way, which is a separate business of mine, we are continuing to have our classes virtually, and we're charging for those just as we would here, so that my teachers can continue to teach and they can continue to get paid. And my staff who don't teach, my manager and stuff, can continue to work, because that is something that is necessary. So I think it's not going to be right for everybody to be able to give stuff away, and you don't feel like you should. There's value in what you have to offer.
So I wanted to just acknowledge that it's, on the one hand, it's super generous, so thank you, and on the other hand, it's totally part of your right livelihood, you know, which is the Buddhist term for making an ethical living. You charge for other things. People might want to stay on after a month if it becomes part of your life and your health. And that other yoga teachers, it's a tough time right now. It's super challenging. A lot of yoga teachers who aren't established never make very good money, maybe don't have very good savings. So we have a question here. Is there a promo code if they want to do the monthly? I think there is, right? If they want to sign up for the free month.
Fortunately, I have my tech person here. Somebody asked, what if we want to sign up monthly but not the whole year? It's asking for a promo code if we want monthly. If you're new, you should get free month trial. So even if it comes up, you can click on monthly versus annual, but you will still, no matter what, you will still get 1 month for free. And then you can choose if you wanted to do a monthly or annual sign up, or, you know, discontinue the trial completely. So that's.
Just ask anyone watching on Facebook, whether they're from Instagram or Facebook, if you're trying to sign up for monthly, is that working for you? Let's just confirm that's working, because it's important to me that people get this wonderful offer if they want it, if you want it. Can we talk about injury for 1 second? So
I would love to.
If we do have some sort of injury, since you're a PT yoga person, physical therapy minded yoga person, how do we do the yoga safely?
Okay, so on my site, I have the foundation, which I say everybody should start with. And it's not only an introduction to the style and the method, but it's an introduction to you feeling what's going on in your body. And like, okay, that particular move doesn't feel good. And then we have a forum. So people write me and they'll say, hey, I took this class and this felt amazing, or I felt a little bit of this. What are your recommendations? Within each of the classes, I give alternatives or modifications. Sometimes I don't like using that term, but I am really into having props. I think props are amazing. Everybody is different. And what we're trying to do is create consistency in our movement patterns. And that is with a very aligned posture. Basically, you're trying to create Tadasana in every pose, with some joints doing something different. So if I was coming forward, then I would not want to be rounding in the spine. The spine is meant there to transfer energy. The hips and shoulders are big movers, but they also have to have stability in them. So we have series on the site specific for shoulders, specific for hips, low back, core. We have a therapeutic series that is designed by another physical therapist who teaches at my studio. And she has it's a lot of bridging between being in physical therapy, literally, like for some injury and coming to do these classes. So that therapeutic series is really nice for the people who are still like a little bit on guard, wherever it is, and it gives them that option. And that's, again, where I feel like we are so different in recognizing that yoga is, if you're just calling out poses and not telling people how to transition into poses and out of poses, because usually it's the in and out. You probably know this with your shoulders. With shoulders, it's almost always transition, that you feel like something going on.
Yeah.
Say you're in and you're lowering to the ground, or you're coming up and going back, though it's not usually, once you get somewhere, you're probably okay, but
I'm totally fine unless I'm like lifting I stopped doing push-ups when I got injured because it hurt too much.
Yeah.
Right in my shoulder.
Find impingement, and that impingement is, we can work with. I can help you with that.
So with the New York Times 6 minutes, so I'm excited to actually do some PT. They had me doing what do you call them? Like what do you call them in a non-gender insulting way? The half push-ups where you're on your knees.
I just say half push-ups. I do a ton of those.
And I love them. Now I can do push-ups again, and it's a little discomfort, but I can finally like move again.
Yes, and that's
I
it.
didn't think to do that because I'm an idiot guy. I was like, I'm not going to do knee push-ups.
No, actually, a lot of times it can be as challenging, if not. So that's another thing, really very clear in my languaging, that I language things that something is not less than or more than, and like, well, if you have the range to do this, or we don't deepen poses. It's really much more about integration. And it's like what we want in life. We want to feel integrated. We want to make our choices from a place that's very clear and integrated, that we're not disassociating from like our desire of, or what we aspire to be, but who we are at our essence.
So it sounds like some people are having issues getting the monthly, some aren't. But needless to say, I think
you can always email us with any problem.
What's the email?
Oh, okay. Hold on 1 second. Here's my tech guy. Let's see.
Tech guy. We're bringing the experts in.
This is what it looks like.
Okay.
And click the what?
On the left.
Closer.
Yeah.
On the left, it says annual and monthly, and you just have to select monthly for $39.99.
Flatten the screen so it's not at an angle. Kind of. We can't really see it very well, I don't think.
What you'll get to a landing page, and you have a choice of annual or monthly. You click monthly, and then it says what?
And it shows the price of $39.99.
And then it just says the $39.99. Yeah. I mean, just like any subscription platform, you have to put in credit card stuff. So some people.
So you can't sign up free. You sign up with your credit card. It's free for a month, and then if you cancel, you're
not charged.
If you stay on because it's meaningful to you, then you are paying, and you're rewarding someone for having given you a lot. So Shannon figured it out.
Don't push the promo code. Yeah. You don't need a promo code. It's automatically 1 month. Automatic. Yeah.
Do not press the promo code box, or it'll ask you for a promo code. Duh. That's a shame.
But I love it. You're right. It would make sense that maybe there'd be a promo code. No, there's no promo code. It's just there. We're just going to let it live on there for a while. I think as long as
let's get an email out there real quick, Lara. So if anyone's confused and you want your free month and you're confused, that's fine. Email
what, Greg? What is the tech support number? How about this? Email Greg, Greg at movementbylara.com.
Greg at movementbylara.com.
Yeah.
Lara. We'll put that in the comments as well.
Yeah. Or Greg at lityoga.com. Both of those work. Yeah.
It's our experience with Elephant as a website that if we are confusing to 15% of the people, that's significant. So we want everyone has a way to get it. So email Greg at movementbylara.com.
Yeah. And so that's so interesting you say that. So the way I teach yoga too is so that it's not confusing, right? I don't want it to be esoteric that people are like, oh, I don't understand what she's saying, or and I think that's why when you understand the body and you're teaching teaching it in a way that makes sense movement wise, but also in language wise. It's not like I'm not a sage on the stage telling you this is how it is. It's that, hey, introducing you to the body. What does it feel like for you? It's really an invitation to go, just like meditation, to go inward, to go home. I say your body is your house. Let's clean the house up a little bit. Let's organize it. When you walk in a room that is organized, it has a different sensation. Literally, your entire body responds differently than when you walk in and it's like a shit show. It's just that and it's the same in your body.
Did you just point at me when you said shit show? Again, I don't.
Again, it's
true. It's true. Can I ask one favor? Is it possible on video, maybe as a little taste or a little present, to do like one little exercise we could do with a little bit of intention every morning, even if it's only 20 seconds?
Yes.
And we can do it right now.
It's really hard to tell me something to do for 20 seconds, but.
Well, it could be 2 minutes. Whatever. Just something we can do in the morning.
Well, first of all, to engage your entire body, we start off in the reset, which is on the floor. Getting on the floor it's going back to this, what's called developmental patterns. We came out of our mom, right? Out of the uterus in whatever fashion. And between that time and 2 years old, we learned how to move and explore and build our brain. And didn't get a handbook for that. Those are hardwired within us, and that's always there. And going back to those developmental patterns is so powerful for creating better habits, better movement patterns. So really, when you go back to those, it's almost like a fresh slate, because habits we know from what you eat to, the habits that are good, not so good, all of it. They will not go away. They're there. They're coded, but they can become like, 1999 Gateway. What was the name of my first computer? But like the really, really old, slow computer. And we just get a fresher version with.
Mine was the Macintosh Classic 2.
Let's start off with Gateway. What happened to Gateway? I forgot.
I didn't have Gateway, I don't think.
Anyway, it went the way of whatever. Okay, so what I would say is get on all fours like you would for like a cat cow.
Can we do it right now?
Yeah, let's do it. Now for you, how about you want to do it and I'll direct you, or you want me to do it with you?
I'll do whatever you tell me. I'll do it.
Okay, I'm gonna have you do it.
Because sorry, you're mostly seeing my placemat. Here, let's move it forward.
Yeah. So actually, I'm going to give you a sequence that's going to be helpful for your shoulder. Okay. So you're going to.
That's kind of what I was trying to do, selfishly, to get a little piece.
Like, show me 2 minutes. That's going to help me with something.
Yeah. I'm no fool.
I know. All right. So you're going to be on all fours, and can I see you from the side? Perfect. Okay, great.
I have my dog poop bags in my pocket.
Those are actually, people have been using them for gloves as well. Okay, so you want to, set yourself up so your hands are under your shoulders. That's it. All right, now bring your knees in. See how you instinctively brought them back a little bit? That's going to set.
Like this?
Yeah, that's good. So that's going to set the way you did it.
It feels really close to my hands now.
It's okay, but here's why. Because the way you just did it, it's going to set your pelvis up to move. Now that's too close. Go back a little bit more, Waylon. There. Okay, now your hip joint is stacked over your knee. If it goes more, which I see 90% of people do, they're going to move in their pelvis. I want you to keep your spine and pelvis steady and bring your left hand. Which one was your injured hand, left or right?
My right here.
Okay, well, let's start with your left.
Okay.
You're going to weight bear on your right hand. Bring your left hand behind your head. Like that.
Are you just messing with me? This isn't yoga. This is like you're just messing with me. You're embarrassing me.
No, that's okay. It's like, twister. No, right hand down, left. Okay, and lift your skull up into your. Yeah, there you go. Good. Now, everything's going to stay steady, meaning you're not going to let your back move, but you are going to rotate in your spine. So on your inhale, rotate to the left.
Like that?
Yep. And then the exhale, you'll come back down.
Oh, yeah.
Inhale and come, and you want to press through the right hand. The right hand will help that. Inhale, turn. Very good. And then back.
That's surprisingly hard for a small movement.
Exactly. And that's how a lot of this is. And that's where yoga can go, and not help us is in its kind of, idealizing big movement. I mean, I don't mean like that. That's great. But like big, like really floppy movement, move where you can. Where we need the control, what I say is get the control first and then go nuts, right? So now from that position, step your left foot forward and come into a low lunge like that. Yep, so upright, no, look at what you just did. Okay, torso, I'm mean. No, don't move that back, good. Now,
Bad.
See, you went where you thought you should, but that was just tipping your pelvis. So now bring your trunk upright. So
I know this is elephant middle, but
spine comes up. Yep, keep coming. Now really get that right glute active, like firm it. And then start rolling one shoulder at a time, one at a time. And when I want you to, and especially on that right one, I want you to feel it lift up, move the scapula. The scapula movement is going to help the impingement tendency here. Yeah.
It can almost impinge more when I move it back, right?
Well, if you move the scapula, no. Move, like think it's all directed from the scapula, the shoulder blade. Move from there. Is that okay?
Yeah. Yep.
It's one thing if it just feels like fascial tightness and clicking. If it feels compressing, let me know.
It feels a little compressed if I go back and in.
No, don't. Yeah, you don't want to like force it back. I'm literally just, what you're trying to do is just mobilize. It's like water, mobilize it.
Kind of just rotate it.
There you go. Hold your belly in stronger.
What are you saying?
Like pull that back. Yeah.
Sorry.
All right, good.
Good for ratings, or is this bad for ratings?
This is great. Okay, now bring your right hand to the floor and lift your right knee up. And now turn that same small amount that you did when the knee was down and lift your left arm straight up in the air. But don't look up. Let your right ear release to your right shoulder or look down. Yeah, so like let it go. Right ear to the right shoulder.
Oh.
Yeah, like that. Good, Waylon. Doesn't that feel nice?
Feels great.
Now so move your breath consciously into your back body, like into the back ribs. Like really expand it back there and keep that right glute active, which it's doing. Awesome. All right, and then you could put your, so that would be like 2 minutes right there. And then you would do the other side. Now, what you hit there is thoracic rotation, which everyone needs. That's the movement of the ribs. Some extension of the thorax, which everyone needs. Mobilization of the shoulder, which everybody needs. And, we didn't get a lot into the hip joint, but we got into the idea of movement at the hip versus pelvis. So in yoga, so often, this movement, tip it down a little bit, is glorified, right? That's movement at the pelvis. And
right, all expansive, yeah. Yeah, exactly. But then
what you're doing is actually harnessing and controlling, working here, and this is a lot of feedback all the way up. This will help your breath. Breathing needs to be, it needs to be cylindrical. And most people breathe just going out a little bit, and then they make it work. So it's when you
tuck your coccyx,
what you're doing is just not allowing the tip of the low back, but hold it. So I talk a lot so you'll learn on the Lit Daily about triple S. What is triple S? Skull, scapula, sacrum, all being in alignment. So when people are coming, this is out of alignment, And that affects your energy flow. It affects your connection to your core and affects your movement patterns. Because really how you stand is how you move. So if you're standing a lot or sitting a lot like this, this is the pitched pelvis is, it is ubiquitous. There's a few people that are flat back and really rounded, but most people are pitched because of the shortening of the front body.
Yeah,
so,
I do that right now. I'm doing that.
Yeah. And so think about it. You transition, and this might be where the yoga has also made your shoulder feel worse. If you went from here to plank, you basically are like that in plank. And then people go into their shoulders like that, as opposed to really feeling that. And then when you lower, the head of your arm bones aren't dropping down.
Right. They're integrated. They're in.
Yes, they're integrated because they're not a separate part. They're integrated by all these great, muscle fascial connections. I mean, really, we're connected in these profoundly cool ways. I mean, the body is just so freaking cool. And all of it, posture affects your breathing. It affects your stress.
Yeah.
You can sit here and sit like this all day. Well, this is a stress position. It is evolutionary. I always say, think of the meerkat, coming up and like, who's going to come get us? That one meerkat that comes up out of the hole. And we're like this all day. And we just stay in this like heightened state of stress.
It's funny you say that because Dave Rogers, he just has a question. How about work from home posture tip? I'm nearly Cro-Magnon.
Okay. First of all, like I am right now, your laptop your eye level has to be level with the screen. So if you have to order a wireless keyboard, you've got to do that. I help so many people with this. I can't even tell you. I go into
instead of being looking down and then our necks go forward.
Yes.
Looking down.
Yes, it's the classic tech neck, text neck. Right. And what your neck does, your low back wants to do as well. They're sympathetic curves. So your cervical spine going like that makes your low back want to do that too.
And then your breath shortens, and then you're not able to breathe through stress, which
yeah.
we're going through.
And you feel like crap because everything is pitched and shortened, and like David said. So what are the things you have to do? First, you have to set up your workstation to work for you, not against you. So set your screen up that you're at eye level and get a wireless keyboard if you have to. It's not that sitting is bad. I say this all the time, but if you stay in one position for any long period of time, that's not great.
So if you need to go to the bathroom, if you need water, if you need coffee, that's why I love working in cafes, because you organically will get up once in a while.
Exactly.
Because when I do standing desk, which I also love, but if I do that too long,
No, people say, standing desk, yes, you don't have the compressive forces on your low back, but you're still, if you don't stand well and you're standing in one position for a long time, you're going to have different set of problems. So what I tell people is set a timer if you need to. And I write too, so I understand you get in your zone, but honestly, the brain after about 45 minutes starts to drift. That is just shown. So you're like, set a timer and get up. I'd rather someone get up.
4 or 5 minutes, or did you say 45 minutes?
45 maximum.
For most of us, maybe for yoga teacher who's vegan over here, 45 minutes. For most of us, right. 4 or 5 minutes. We're like,
okay, so I was being like, whatever. But I'm just trying to, the point is, we don't have, we need to get up more often than we think. So set a timer for every 20 minutes. I'd rather somebody move for 5 minutes every 20 minutes than not move for 5 hours and then do an hour-long yoga practice.
Wow.
Do
I love that. That needs to be a pull-out quote, Molly or Lindsay. I love that.
Really, frequent movement is what we need. And we don't need to go and bust your ass somewhere. Actually, that from a long, sustainable standpoint is not what we need.
Yeah.
What we need is regular movement. We need to, again, be more optimal in our posture for sure. If anyone out there thinks posture doesn't matter, look around. When you notice somebody that has good posture, the reason you notice it is so rare. It's so rare. But the way you stand absolutely is the way you move. I call it the starting line. And there's no way in any race, bike, running, whatever, you would want to start 100 yards back, a quarter of a mile back. There's no way. But that's how you're starting in your movement patterns if you have poor posture. You're already starting behind the starting line.
Yeah, I feel like the only people who consistently have great posture aren't even yoga teachers, weirdly. It's ballet, people who do ballet. They have this kind of uplifted, relaxed thing. Yeah, the long neck and...
Yeah, they do. But trust me, I work with a lot of dancers. They have a whole host of other issues.
No, I know. I mean, I dated a ballerina and her feet were just tortured. And
and their backs and feet and shoulders.
Oh yeah.
Because they're going into big ranges. So.
Right. Well, Lara, it's such a delight. You're so grounded and funny and great. You remind me a little of Cindy Lee. Did you ever know her? I love her.
Yeah, back from yoga. No, what's it called?
Not yoga.
Yes.
In New York.
Yes.
And that was not an uptight studio. That was fun. That was colorful. That was delightful. That was grounded.
My studio here is like that. Oh, I love it.
She's so great. Except you're vegan, so I like you
even
more than Aunt Cindy. I'm kidding. Cindy's like family to me, but so fun to meet you. And please, let's all do a month. I personally am going to do it, and I don't do that because I have to. I'm going to do it because I need it and want to. And I'll report back. You have some forums, so we can talk about.
No, we need before and after. We're going to do some pictures with you, before and after.
Yeah. The before.
This is a wonder. You have what you're doing in the world is so amazing, and you're such a great example of living your passion and living your purpose. So thank you.
Well, thank you. I can only do it because of my wonderful staff and because I never give up. And it has been hard to be media in this Instagram, Facebook, Google monopoly world. And then the quarantine or the pandemic obviously makes it brutally hard on all businesses, which affects us because we work to support many businesses, including yours. So thank you. Such an honor. And everyone check.
You're supporting me.
Click that link to a free month of yoga. And Lara, what were you saying?
I said, thank you for supporting me.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you. I want everybody to move better, feel better, so we can get through this together. We can do it.
Yeah, we can only get through it together. I mean, Jose Andres, you know him, the chef, he was saying together, this is the only way we can get through this. So left, right, even if you're, really disagree on the political stuff, we have to get together on this and be safe. So.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, Lara, thank you so much. And
thank you so much.
All right. Mwah.
Yeah.
Thank you.